There we go. Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Commissioners. Invite you all to please rise for an invocation by Todd Luce from the Grandview Christian Church, and please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Let's pray. Gracious Lord, we thank you so much for the beautiful day and theoretically the sunshine that's supposed to be here today. We thank you for the moisture that we've had as well. Lord, we pray a special blessing upon the commissioners in the meeting today, that they will do what's right for our county and for the people in it, that it would benefit all of us, Lord. We thank you for their willingness to serve. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, sir.
Don't get sunburned. Get sunscreen on. Get sunscreen on.
Let's do roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner McFall,
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
County Attorney Bellis,
Present.
County Administrator Carochi.
Present.
All right, we move next to approval of the agenda today. We have a very minor change under the consent agenda. We actually do not have a set of minutes to approve. They're still working their way through. So we need to remove item number 1 and renumber items 2 through 6 as 1 through 5.
Madam Chair, with those changes, I move for the approval of the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We move next to the consent agenda. I would like to note we are not scheduling any public hearings on today's agenda. We are ratifying the chairman's signature on the South Region Emergency Management Mutual Aid Agreement. We also are approving transfer of a couple of parcels from the John C. Fremont Library District to the Penrose Community Library District, and that is simply because those two parcels do belong in the Penrose District.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Let's do roll call.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to informational and administrative topics. We will begin with staff and elected officials' reports, starting with our county administrator report given by Tony Carochi, our county administrator.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Good morning, Tom.
Everyone. We'll start off with our job opportunities that we have posted in the county. Our Fremont County Sheriff's Office, we have a detention deputy position that closes March 18th, 2025. And we have a patrol deputy position or posting that closes March 18th, 2026. Actually, the detention deputy also closes on March 18th, 2026, not 2025. For more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcounty.co.gov or call our HR department at 719-276-7409. Our Fremont County Department of Transportation, as you know, we closed Mackenzie Avenue from Monday, March 2nd through Monday, March the 9th. I'm trying to pull up some pictures here. To conduct roadway culvert repairs, the Fremont County Department of Transportation crew replaced 2 culverts going underneath Mackenzie Avenue that had extensive damage. There were 2 locations next to each other. One was an 80-foot section of 15-inch culvert, and the other was an 80-foot section of 24-inch culvert. The roadway was cut, the old culverts were removed, a new culvert was replaced in there and backfilled with wet class 6 and asphalted to complete the project. Here's another picture of the culvert so you can see why we had to replace them. They were in pretty bad shape. So mostly I just wanted to say thanks to the community for all your patience and cooperation with our work crews while the work was being completed. And as you can see how bad those were, out of here. Our DOT crew will also now be closing the road at the intersection of Ash and Grand to conduct more roadway culvert repairs. Those roads will be closed from Monday, March 16th, 2026 through Thursday, March the 19th, 2026. And anticipated reopening will be by the end of the day on Tuesday, March 19th. Signs and detours will be posted in place. Should there be a change to the closure dates, we will post those notifications. Please share with anyone who may need this information and planning accordingly for your commute. And also just a reminder that tomorrow, March 12th, is the last day to provide sealed bids for materials for our Fremont County Department of Transportation 2026 projects. Bid information and sheets are available for download on our website at fremontcountyco.gov. Sealed bids must be received by 1 p.m. tomorrow, March 12th, at the Fremont County Administrator's Office at 615 Macon Avenue, room 106, Canyon City, Colorado, 81212. Dates of delivery will be scheduled through our Fremont County Department of Transportation supervisors. Sealed bids for dust suppression and emulsion need to be submitted on the bid sheets supplied, be signed, and contain completed contact information. Fremont County reserves the right to refuse or reject any and all bids. Fremont County Public Health has developed an interactive dashboard to provide the public with access to traffic crash data across Fremont County. The dashboard allows users to explore trends related to crash frequency, injury, severity, roadway corridors, time of day, and potential driver impairment factors. This tool supports ongoing roadway safety initiatives and helps inform the work of local partners, including the Fremont County DUI Task Force, law enforcement agencies, and transportation safety programs. By providing transparent access to crash data, the dashboard aims to promote community awareness and support data-driven strategies that reduce crashes and improve safety for all road users. To access the interactive dashboard, go to the Fremont County website, click on County Offices at the top of the page, and then click on Public Health and Environment, and you will see a link to the interactive dashboard. Also, Fremont County government is once again gearing up for our annual Fremont County Cleanup Campaign. Fremont County will be offering a limited number of trash vouchers for free disposal of household trash, furniture, construction debris, brush, logs, leaves, and yard waste will be available on a first-come, first-served basis to unincorporated Fremont County residents. And this project will begin on March the 16th and run through April the 30th. Trash vouchers are good for free disposal of 500 pounds at Twin Enviro Services, Apex Waste Solutions, or Phantom Landfill as we know it, at 2500 Fremont County Road 67 north of the airport. Amounts of trash in excess of 500 pounds will be charged extra, $60 a ton on site. Mattresses and box springs will also be charged extra at the gate. Hours of operation for the landfill are from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Fremont County residents, unincorporated Fremont County residents may pick up a voucher from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday at our Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment, which is located across the street from our county administration building, which is 201 North 6th Street. Proof of residency is required when obtaining a voucher. Only one voucher will be issued per household. Free disposal will end on April the 30th, as I stated earlier, at 3:30 p.m. All loads must be covered, and no commercial haulers or contractors qualify for these vouchers. As always, no tires, dead animals, or hazardous waste will be accepted at any site. All landfill rules apply. And I believe, and this information will be posted on our front page of our website today at fremontcountyco.gov.
Just a quick addition to that, if I may. You mentioned the hours of the landfill. However, if the wind is blowing, they may not be open, so make sure and call ahead of time.
Yeah.
We're under a high wind warning again today, so
Yeah,
call
thanks
ahead
for
of time.
adding that, yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
I also would mention, in conjunction with our trash voucher program real quickly, that Amrise, which used to be Wholesome, typically runs a tire collection. We do not collect tires. We don't allow those out through this trash voucher program. but they typically do run an entire weekend of tire collection, and we just haven't heard yet of a date. So if we hear about that, we will bring that forth at this meeting, so everybody's going to know. All right, anything else for Tony?
Well, I guess while we're on that those vouchers go in conjunction with Canyon City, with people that live within the city limits. They're doing something similar, have a program as well. So they're kind of been working together with public health. I don't know about Florence, but our vouchers are only good for people in unincorporated Fremont County.
Okay, all good? All right. We are honored to have with us this morning our District Attorney, Jeff Lindsay, who does take care of Judicial District 11. He is here with an office report for us this morning. I see you have a couple of folks with you. Not sure if you would like to bring them forward as well or introduce them, but good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's always a pleasure to come before you. This commission has been pretty amazing in the leadership that it has helped in providing, information and staff and budget for the District Attorney's Office. So I appreciate that, and I do welcome the opportunity to come before you. I've got about 3 things I want to talk about today. I do have my staff here, and I'll recognize them in a minute. One of the things that I think the Commission, I've stayed in pretty close contact with County Attorney Bells, is we had a network issue pretty significantly that impacted our office. I was at the office on Martin Luther King Day. I do work on holidays and weekends occasionally, sometimes more often than not. And I noticed some things coming over our fax machine, which is also our copier and everything. And it turns out that we had some interruption with our network. That's what I'm supposed to say publicly, and I think everybody knows what that means. We were down for about 2.5 weeks with computers that served as paperweights instead of computers. Everything was turned off. We went back to the old-fashioned paperweight, which is not easy given that 100% of our stuff is on computers. And we managed to work through it. The courts were sympathetic. Fence Bar was also pretty sympathetic, and so we appreciate the information that County Attorney Bellis gave us as to help us through that. Having also been through this recently, the county had been through it as well. We managed to get back up and running about a week before a big trial that hit us, and here we are. Y'all have any questions about network interruption or anything along those lines?
I think no questions, but you have our utmost sympathy.
Oh my gosh.
We feel your pain on that.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
And recovery is possible, but boy, it can take a very, very long time.
And we're
so.
still dealing with
yeah.
repercussions now. It's a couple of months later. It wasn't on my bingo card. There's a lot of things on my bingo card I was expecting, not even close to like the foreseeable bingo card down the road. So it was a painful couple of weeks for us. We had staff that really picked up and worked hard, but they just didn't have anything to do. They don't have computers, and so we had sort of activities planned for staff, and they stayed resolute with us. The second thing I'd bring to the Commission's attention, and super excited about this, is we are fully staffed as of this last week. And so we have 2 attorneys in Chaffee, we have 2 attorneys in Park, we have the rest of our attorneys in Fremont. We hired a young lady from Sedgwick County, Kansas, Wichita area, who is hopefully going to become a career prosecutor. And so now we are fully staffed. All of our divisions are lawyers plenty, and we're just going forward doing the people's business of the 11th Judicial District. I know that doesn't sound like a big accomplishment, but the accomplishment is there, and something down in the deepest crevices of my heart. I feel good about having people working on cases and not being overwhelmed and overburdened. Then last, we had a pretty big case that came about. This case happened on the Custer side of Oak Creek Grade. Everybody knows, I'm not sure whose district that is. Is it yours?
Kevin's.
Mine.
Commissioner Grantham. That Oak Creek Grade area is one big community, even though Custer and Fremont kind of separated that county line. It's all one area. And so we had Fremont people on the Custer side and Fremont people reach out to us about some of the importance of this case, and we stayed resolute to that case. We did a 3-week-long trial. It was here in Fremont County due to a venue change that Custer County came down to it, just really didn't have the ability to provide the number of jurors and also the space and some other issues that came about due to media coverage. The trial lasted 3 weeks. You know, when we hear the Pledge of Allegiance and we hear the term justice for all, I think about that as it pertains to this case. Victims' families, the community as a whole, and then also justice towards the defendant. And that's, you know, justice applied to defendants sometimes isn't so much fun for them. But that's the way it worked, and, you know, we got justice for the families and also part of that, the defendant. Ironically, on Martin Luther King Day in January, I was working on this trial and getting exhibits ready and things for the trial. That's sort of how we managed, believe it or not, to interrupt some of the things that was happening by being vigilant. Some, you know, thing on the fact machine, oh my gosh, I get this to our IT guys, and they shut things down that quick. So I think we managed to avoid significant network issues by being resolute and standing firm and notifying IT right away, because the amount of information that was actually obtained was pretty minuscule in the grand scheme of things from the DA's office. So yeah, the Hammond-Clark trial wrapped up on February 19th. It was the third Thursday, and then he was sentenced on that next day, that February 20th, that Friday. He was sentenced to 3 life terms plus an additional 51 years consecutive, and will be residing in one of the correctional facilities somewhere in this state for the rest of his life.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
A hard-fought one.
It was
Yeah.
hard fought, absolutely, Commissioner.
That was a tragic deal that happened there, so I'm glad justice was served. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you guys have any questions of me, commissioners or staff?
Well, make comments and questions, I suppose. To reiterate what colleagues were saying, you know, thank you for your work, and I'm on that case in particular. I hate to talk about the prior administration over there, but we are glad to be where we're at now, and justice being served in these kind of cases, and people being put behind bars that need to be put behind bars. Doesn't seem like that's where we were at, but that's where we are at now, and thank you for that. So, curious, how long did the jury deliberate on that?
So the jury was out a little less than 2 hours. When in that sort of the grand scheme of thing, you think about a 3-week trial, 500 and probably 60 exhibits, including 911 calls, videos, photos, physical exhibits, you know, a lot of firearm material. Less than 2 hours was a pretty significant amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Normally, lawyers think about fast verdicts, and we don't usually like them because they're not so good sometimes, but this obviously was a good one, so a little less than two hours was the verdict came in.
Well, on Law and Order, everything happens in 60 minutes.
Yeah,
So.
with commercials.
With commercials.
Verdict and
Yeah.
all, yes.
Yeah, I do make the joke that, you know, I'm not as good looking as some of those people on the TV shows, but I work hard, so.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
So I'm curious to know, how do you think this particular verdict might reflect on Fremont County as a whole?
I think it reflects on the county very well. You know, the jurors that came in were from all walks of life. You know, we sometimes think of Fremont County as kind of a retirement community. It was nothing like that. There were several retired people, but there were also young professionals. There were also sort of the blue-collar workers. It was a wide array of a lot of people that, you know, came into this jury service from Fremont County. I also think it reflects, Commissioner, on the jury and the community of Fremont County as a whole. At the sentencing the next day on Friday, we had 7 jurors come back for sentencing. And that just doesn't happen. That's not very a frequent occurrence. You know, they reached out to the victims' families, kind of sat back in their jury box where they were. They were no longer with the juror badge, but came back. And so I think it says to to everyone that's listening that this is a community that cares about crime, they care about justice, and they care about the right resolution of cases. So I was impressed with the jury selection as a whole and impressed with the jury that heard this case.
That's really great to hear because I think we all have had the experience. We get a juror notification in the mail and we just go, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't want to do this. I don't. But this is the most basic thing that we offer in the United States of America is to be judged by one's peers. And this is the only way that we can possibly do that. So I commend not only you and your staff, your entire office, but all of those jurors, as well as the potential jurors, everyone who showed up that day to be questioned, to go through that entire process. I know it's a lengthy process, so congratulations on all of that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they were very patient and very willing to serve.
That's great.
I just have congratulations for being fully staffed. I think it's been a long time since
That's
that
pretty impressive.
office has been fully staffed. I'm just curious to how you found people. It took a long time, I think, because we've always heard that it's hard to get people to come here because salaries are better in more urban places. We get it. I mean, this is rural America. So how did you get these people to come, and thank you for doing it?
Yeah, so I think people are starting to realize that it's not all it's meant to be if to live in the metro area. I lived in Colorado Springs for about 16 years. I like it here. I like it. It's quieter. I mean, obviously, I'm from Fremont County. I grew up in Florence, graduated from Florence High School. But moving out of Colorado Springs area with that traffic, the population, going to dinner is, sometimes a 3-hour affair. You have to wait in line. Here, you can pretty much go anywhere, show up, and get, the ability to be served, go to the movies, My commute to my office is about 5 minutes. I much prefer that to even a 15 or 20 minute commute. So I think people are starting to see that living in kind of the rural America that we have here in Fremont County is a fun thing. And, we just hired this, as I said, young lady, her name is Brittany Pascal, out of Wichita. And Wichita is probably the biggest city in Kansas. And she was looking forward to this kind of a lifestyle. We have the same kind of crimes, maybe just not as frequent as Colorado Springs or Pueblo. And so the same opportunities for prosecutors to work on these cases is there. But it's an easier, I think, quieter type of life that we enjoy here in Fremont County. And, the staff that's to my left here, both of these individuals were instrumental in the Clark case, and so I've investigated Ron Gravatt. He's a retired homicide detective out of Pueblo PD. And then Kayla Trujillo, she's my office manager and paralegal on this case. And without these two individuals on the Clark case, we're nowhere. These two individuals took the bull by the horns, worked countless hours to serve this case, to serve this community, and provide justice. And really, these people are the ones that maybe don't get the notoriety or get the exposure of, yeah, this was a great verdict. Without these two individuals behind me, I'm not standing here today. I'm probably in the corner just dealing with all of the work that comes to bear on these type of cases. So I very much appreciate them. I asked them to come because they don't necessarily get the recognition, and I think it's appropriate that they be recognized today, and the commissioners also hear the tremendous work that both of these individuals did as a result of this case.
Yeah, thank you guys for your service too and what you guys do. We know the same thing. There's people behind us that help us achieve what we're trying to do, and without them, it'd make it much more difficult. We could get it done, but it makes so. Thank you guys for what you do.
Yeah, if not impossible.
Yeah,
So would you like to
yeah.
just bring them forth and introduce
Sure.
them to us?
Come on up. They also have the company wear on, if you notice.
Nice.
The logo, we have two. One of them's kind of a fun logo, and one of them's like the official state seal logo. This is the kind of fun logo.
Need you
here.
back to the microphone.
Oh, sorry about that.
We need those millions watching around the world to actually hear what you're saying, so, yes.
So first is Investigator Ronald Gravatt Jr., again, a retired homicide detective out of Pueblo Police Department, lifelong police officer, also a lifelong son to a father that was all the way up into chief of police at one point in Pueblo PD. So he's been a cop all of his life and will probably never stop being a cop.
Obviously not if he retired and he's still doing investigations, so.
Yes.
And then to his left is Kayla Trujillo. Kayla Trujillo comes to us also. She was one of the people that I first met in the DA's office in Pueblo, and I thought, this is the person that gets things done. And those are the kind of people I love to have on my staff, people that get things done. And she's amazing how quickly and efficiently she gets things done, and just really is a super positive attitude, and it carries forward for the rest of the office.
Well, congratulations on your amazing ability to build your team, and welcome to both of you. We're so glad you're here this morning. Thank you for what you do.
Anything they want to add?
Yeah, anything you would like to mention, approach? No, okay. All right, anything else for Mr. Lindsay this morning?
No, thanks for being here, though.
Thanks for everything you're doing, Jeff, and
Yeah, you're welcome.
turning
I
that office around
appreciate the commission. So,
and making things happen out there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, moving on with other elected officials' reports, let's turn to Commissioner McFall.
Okay, thank you. I would like to mention, it was mentioned a minute ago that we had a little bit of moisture, I think, in the prayer maybe, but the moisture was wonderful and great, but we are still very, very dry out there. We're actually in stage 1 fire restrictions right now. The sheriff elected to go into that on the 24th of February, and even with this moisture, we're still in a 1 restrictions, which unfortunately this time of year, a lot of people need to do some agriculture burning, and you cannot do that under restriction, stage 1 fire restrictions. So make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on, and we're under a red flag warning again today, which means the winds are going to blow, and it's just Fremont County today. I don't know why they keep picking on us, but be careful out there. Be
We're the
diligent.
chosen ones.
Yeah. You know, we get up here and we talk a lot about how we follow legislation and what they're doing in Denver, and thank God I heard on this morning on the news that the right to become a prostitute failed. It went away. It's not even going to committee. So just terrible bills like that are up there. But there's other stuff that happens up there. Parks and Wildlife, their board is appointed by the governor. They are non-elected officials appointed solely by the governor. And the governor has appointed people to that board that have one mission in mind, and that is to kill parks wildlife. It's to kill hunting and fishing is what it's for. They had a big Parks and Wildlife meeting on the 4th and 5th last week. Hundreds of people, hundreds. I've heard 400 to 600 people were there to testify against a petition that was submitted to ban commercial fur trading in Colorado. The staff of CPW, the experts, the biologists, the scientists, the director of CPW recommended to the board that they do not allow that petition to pass because they need to follow the science. And they completely ignored the hundreds of people that spoke, the staff's recommendations, the experts, and approved the petition to go along with rulemaking. They did a terrible, terrible job at what they were doing. They handled it completely wrong. Their attorney led them down the wrong road, I believe. They didn't know what motion they were making. One guy says, well, I think if I understand your motion, I guess I second it, the kind of deal. I mean, it was terrible. She couldn't recite her motion the second time. So I think it was a foregone conclusion of how they were going to vote, no matter what people said or what the staff said. It's very disheartening to know that, like I said, these people are appointed by the governor, I feel, for a sole purpose, and I'm not alone on that. You can form your own opinion on that, and you can form your own opinion on fur bearers, but hunting and fishing is a way of life, and it has been for centuries, hundreds of years, and it needs to continue that way. If we don't manage the animals that are in the wildlife that are in our country, they're going to all die from plague or some kind of disease or something anyway. So these guys know what they're doing, the scientists, the biologists, and they should be listened to. And it's very disheartening to see a board that is non-elected. There's no accountability to them. They're accountability to no one except the governor, and it's on his plate. So it's sad to see that that's what's happening in Colorado. So it's just another addition of what this governor is trying to do to Colorado before he gets out of office to, in my opinion, completely kill the state in what's happening. And I'm going to stop there.
All right.
That vein is starting to bulge.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I would like to note, it is almost 9:30. We do have a public hearing scheduled at 9:30, but we still have a couple of elected officials reports. We also are going to continue on to our citizens' requests before the commissioners, and then we will do our public hearing. So,
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just to add on to what Commissioner McFall was talking about with the the current effort to ban fur trade, et cetera, nowhere in their rationale, if you can even call it rationale for what they were doing, did they talk about the science of wildlife management. There is a science to it, and that is what our good folks at the state, if you can believe that. There are some really good folks doing good work on the wildlife issues, and it's a long time study and science of how to manage that in our state. And that's really part of the purpose of our hunting licenses, is to fund that as well as to manage populations and identify those problems and diseases and things like that in the wildlife populations. And all that goes away with this current efforts over the last few years. Anyway, there are several bills. I wanted to talk about legislation in the legislature as well. I'll make this as brief as I can, Madam Chair. If you're paying attention to Second Amendment issues, there are several awful bills going through right now. Senate Bill 4 is the red flag extension bill expansion. This is essentially a way to get around, I think, constitutional provisions, not just the Second Amendment, but taking your guns away before you're convicted of anything. It's a travesty that the red flag law is already in place. Now they want to expand its reach and authority. Senate Bill 43, the barrels bill, banning the sale of barrels, gun barrels. Again, it's one of those things done in the name of public safety, when in fact it does nothing of the sort. All it does is make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to have and utilize their Second Amendment rights. House Bill 1126 is another large regulatory scheme that's going to be put on the backs of our gun retailers, as if there wasn't already enough on them from the last several years. Now there's going to be even more. I hope you all have noted in Fremont County. I don't know. I think one in Florence now.
One for sure.
One in Florence. There used to be several. This is trying to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And 1144, House Bill 1144, the 3D printing bill. Again, this would prohibit not only the use or transfer of 3D printing plans, but also the possession of them. If you have 3D printing plans, PDF or something on your computer, that will be illegal. This is pretty awful stuff. Commissioner McFall mentioned the prostitution decriminalization bill. It hasn't died yet. It does still technically have to go to committee in order to die, or they could just let it sit on a calendar until May, whatever, let it die there. But the sponsor did announce from the floor of the Senate yesterday that he is, or the day before, one or the other, yesterday, Monday, that he was going to kill it in committee, and it would happen without public testimony, which is, in a small way, too bad.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been a fantastic show of just how far this majority has gone in this state against the will of the people. I think that would have been a wonderful display of that if they could have had testimony on that. But he will kill it without testimony. A couple other bills. There is the Commissioner Elections Bill 1203. I don't see that one going anywhere. It's one of those things where it's not going to affect Fremont directly, but it will eventually affect Fremont in how commissioners are elected in their counties. A power that already exists in every county in Colorado, and they want to force it because they have a a vendetta against a couple of current county commissioners up in one of our metro area counties. Completely unnecessary invasion into local control and unfunded mandates. Senate Bill 105, this is a strange one. It's county officer disclosures, talking about basically some of our county officials, our elected officials, wouldn't be allowed to operate in their own professions while they are sitting as the elected official. It doesn't affect commissioners, oddly enough, yet. It would eventually if it passed. But there's some of the small counties, rural counties, where they have to be able to operate in their profession in order to do their jobs. And some of their professions actually do correspond with their elected official capacity. Coroners in particular was the focus of this bill because some coroners come from the industry, the funeral home industry. And it's a local control issue, and the state has no business regulating those issues. Same thing would happen with like the assessors and their appraisal businesses outside of the county offices. Anyway, another invasion of our local control. The last one I want to mention, Madam Chair, is the Cottage Foods Act of, House Bill 1033. It was a good bill. I say was a good bill, meant to expand our ability to operate for folks to be able to sell their wares, sell their foods that they make. It was co-opted by the majority party and turned into a regulatory bill that the current Cottage Foods Act isn't you don't have to really register. There's a voluntary registration available in the current Cottage Foods Act, which a voluntary registration is not a registration scheme. Since it's voluntary, but now they're turning it into a non-voluntary registration scheme. That is worse than what was originally intended by this expansion bill. So pay attention, not just the Second Amendment stuff, but all the things that they are doing to make life a little bit more miserable for you and I. And that is, I think we're only about halfway through the session. We haven't even started talking about the budget bills and stuff like that yet. So a lot of things still yet to come in this legislative session. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. Thank you for that report, sir. I will keep my report very, very brief. Commissioner McFall and I did attend the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of a rough weekend. We worked all week. We got up super early Friday morning, got on a flight, worked all weekend, came back on Wednesday, came back to work on Thursday. And so I think I'm still recovering, and now we have time change to deal with. The annual conference is coming up next for us, which will be in July. But these two opportunities give us a perfect moment in time to go and to advocate on a national level for the local people of Fremont County. That's who we are. That's what we do. We do really good work while we're there. And I will just say it was very, very busy 5 days. Anyone who's interested in what actually happened and went on, the two of us produced one Fremont podcast while we were out there. Those podcasts are all available by your Fremont County Commissioners on youtube.com. So if you want to know more, go check it out and hear all about it. So, okay, anything else up here? All right, let's go ahead and take our citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on today's agenda. As commissioners, we do value our citizens and what they have to say to us. So I have two requests today. It looks as though they are both on the same topic, from Fred Polly and Dan Barnett. If you would like to approach together, one at a time, come up and let us know what's on your mind. And please identify yourself, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Before I start, Mr. McFall, I'd like to tell you thank you very much for taking care of the dead cow on Copper Gulch Road.
You're welcome.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I have a safety concern.
Could you introduce yourself to us, please?
Daniel Barnett.
Thank you.
I live in unincorporated Fremont County. I've lived in Colorado for 40 some odd years. I came here after I got out of the Air Force. I was in during the later surges of Vietnam.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
And I love Colorado. It's changed a lot, but we love Fremont County. We love where we live. We live up off of Copper Gulch, up just west of Deer Mountain. And there's a safety concern that I'd like to address to you folks that I haven't had the chance to get to for a long time, but it's the road leading from Gulch Road, which is Boyd Road, and it turns into 14th Trail and goes down, and that road's always a mess. After it rains, it's just a very bad safety issue with the mud, and there's a hill that goes down, and you can go down at 5 miles an hour and you go sliding. I drive a truck, a GMC or a Chevrolet Silverado. It has a pretty stiff suspension. It's the off-road, if you want to call it truck, but it's on-road, but it shakes you to death going on that road. And I've called the Cotopaxi shop numerous times. They were really good about it for a couple years coming up and grading the road. But for the last year, they haven't really done very much. And it's degraded very badly. That's my main concern. If we could do something with that road, I think it would be a good idea. I know they chip sealed 2 miles or so of road gulch. But if they could chip seal that road, that would get rid of all the dust. It would get rid of all the grading that needs to be done and the manpower and the time and the equipment to bring it up. So I wanted to just give you that idea, see if something could be done about that or better maintenance of the road. My truck is new generation, but I've had taillights fall off because of the rattling and whatever. I know it's pretty minor stuff, but I wanted to express the safety issue with that road. Also, the safety issue of Copper Gulch Road. You've probably dealt with Copper Gulch Road many times. I've always wondered why people, you're driving along, and I've always wondered why people drive in the middle of the road. It's because the edges of the road are so terrible. And the road department, their fix for that is to throw some tar down and put some gravel down on top of that, and it lasts for a couple days. I know Copper Gulch has never been asphalted or paved. It's just been chip sealed since, I believe, 2000 was
Probably.
somewhere around there when they first did it. But if some kind of really good maintenance could be done to that road, it would be great. I don't think it would cause people to speed more. People speed on that road all the time. And Fred and I were coming down in my truck this morning, and this guy was in a Toyota pickup, and he must have been going 75 miles an hour and passed us on the curves on the double yellow. Totally unsafe. So I don't think fixing that road would fix the speeding problem, but I believe it would fix the safety problem of people trying to drive in the middle of the road to miss those bad areas that are pretty much prevalent all the way through.
All right.
One other thing, they sure did cut down a lot of trees on Copper Gulch. They took the trees that they cut down and threw them in the drainage. Hundreds of trees.
Trees out of the right-of-way?
I'm sorry?
Trees out of the right-of-way?
Some of the trees were 10 to 20 feet off the road. They cut down the apple tree. I don't know if you're familiar with the apple tree, but I think that was there when the stagecoach used to run through. But they cut down a lot of trees, and if they would take them and chip seal them or chip them or whatever for mulch, that would be good, but they took a lot of the trees, majority of the trees, and just threw them down in the drainage.
You say they, who's they?
I don't know who did it.
Yeah, I don't think our road guys would have done that. That's why I'm wondering who did that.
Well, I called the administration, and they said they weren't completely finished with the operation yet. So maybe it was county run. I think it might have been.
We'll find out on that one. That's interesting. For sure. I have a question for you, right quick. I just want a clarification on the Boyd Road 14th Trail. Is this Boyd Road that's rough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you turn off of Gulch Road onto Boyd Road.
Yeah.
It just gets really washboardy, and
Okay.
with the summer rains coming up, it's really gonna get bad.
Knock on wood, we get summer rain.
This last, yeah, hopefully, yeah. This last bit of moisture we had up there, which wasn't very much, turned that road into a mud hole.
Okay.
And it seems like they came and they got rid of all the gravel and just left the dirt. So I appreciate you letting me speak my mind.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
You guys
Mr.
have a
Polly,
great
do you have
day.
anything you'd like to add?
This is my neighbor.
Hi, yes, I'm Fred Pauley,
Good morning.
and good morning. I'm at 738 15th Trail, and I tried to write stuff down because I've never been to one of these meetings before,
Well, welcome.
and it's interesting, thank you. I'm sad about the apple tree as well. Like you said, it's probably been there since the stagecoaches were coming up and down, and somebody threw their apple core out, and it grew. And it was a few feet off the road, probably not a problem. But I know a lot of people are upset because it was like a landmark. It's
Yeah,
like you're
sure.
coming down the canyon, you see the beautiful apple tree, and now it's... So I'm sad about that. Again, with the trees being cut along the edge of the canyon, they tossed a lot of them into the dry wash. We're going to get a big rain eventually. And if all that extra debris is in there, that's going to pile up somewhere, wash out the road, and then end up going into the Royal Gorge, and then coming into Cannon City, and then the more debris there is, the more damage can happen. So I wanted to bring that up. I have about 3 more things. It's the Boyd Road, 13th Trail goes to 14th to 15th. 13th Trail and the Boyd and 14th, where you go up the hill at first, it's all really hard packed dirt, and which has had that salt solution put on it. And when it rains on it, it turns into mud like ice. And it's really hard to go up or down it safely. And when they did a lot of road work on 15th Trail up past that, which I personally don't think they needed to do so much. But something needs to be done with that hill. And then after it's the ice and the rain, mostly the rain, and then it turns to mud, so that's horrible. And of course it happens on all dirt roads, but it's just extra bad there for some reason, maybe because it's so hard packed. I wanted to bring up too, this would be for future planning when there's subdivisions and whatever. In my neighborhood, there's so many roads that just dead end, and there's actually only 2 roads to get out of my neighborhood. So if there's a fire, even if you're familiar with the area, you can't see because of the smoke, you could get trapped there. So future places would be good to have better fire evacuations. And I walk these roads every single day, no matter what. No matter what. Below 0, 100 degrees, I'm there. And every day. So when it's really muddy, I've seen emergency vehicles and utility vehicles get buried up to their axle. And I mean, they just get stranded there. It's not even the bad snowstorms, it's the mud. So it'd be nice to see that addressed. And I think that about covers it.
All right, thank you, sir. We will, I think, have a conversation with our Roads and Bridges Department about a couple of these issues, so thank you for being here this morning.
Yeah, I think
thank you
that's an
so
interesting topic, because that's BLM is what our road goes through unless it's private ground, so
Yeah.
BLM could be doing something, but we'll find out.
All right, yeah, part of it's, we're unincorporated, and some of it the residents maintain, but
Right.
just that hill's the scariest thing.
Right.
So, all right,
Thank you,
thanks a
sir.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We have no old business to tend to today. We're going to skip new business for the moment. and jump into our public hearing that was scheduled at 9:30 this morning. This is a revision and update to the Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment Body Art Regulations. We have with us a couple of our folks from our Department of Public Health. We have Rick Gutierrez, our Director of Fremont County Public Health, and Amy Jamison, who is the Environmental Health Manager for Fremont County Public Health. So if you would like to go ahead and come forward, I will ask if there's anyone in the room who is planning on standing and speaking about this, if you would grab a slip from over there, fill it out, bring it on up so we know that you have some comments for us this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and open this public hearing. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment is proposing several updates to our body art regulations. To our knowledge, this is the first time the regulations have been updated since their adoption in 2009. Given the amount of time since the regulations adoption and changes throughout the industry that have occurred over the years, the Department of Environmental Health Specialists and I have spent numerous hours dedicated to ensuring that these proposed updates reflect the most current industry standards. Our process included a comparison to our neighboring counties as well as other counties throughout the state of Colorado, and took into consideration regulations and standards adopted by the National Environmental Health Association. Furthermore, we have sent the proposed changes to all currently licensed body art establishments in Fremont County to allow for their feedback. And finally, these proposed revisions operate within the framework of the State of Colorado body art regulations as outlined by Rule 6 Colorado Code of Regulations 1010-22.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
I've got a question, Rick.
Oh, come on back, please.
What feedback did you get from those licensed?
So of all the establishments that actually provided written feedback to our request, we had one establishment that basically provided positive feedback, thanking us for our work on the regulations. We, prior to sending out the proposed regulations, we had sent out a request for suggestions back in September. And we've had one establishment come in and talk to us about some suggestions that they had regarding some of the green soaps, and I suspect that they're here to speak about that today. And so I'll let them talk about that, and if you have any other questions for us at that point, then be glad to come back up.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
Anything else for Rick?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to public comment at this time. We have Richard Bunton, who would like to get up and speak about this. Please step forward to the microphone, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Richard Button. I'm with Rustic Inc. here on Elm Street. Pretty much we was just going over a few things with my crew, and I'm actually originate from back east, Michigan, Indiana area. They have they have recently banned lidocaine in a lot of their studios because it is actually, you need to be in a medical setting for that. None of us tattoo artists are doctors or nurses. We're strictly body artists. A lot of lidocaine overdoses and reactions have been happening back east. That's why they had completely took it off the market as far as using lidocaine in the tattoo industry back in Michigan and Indiana. I've been looking into different resources because it is painful. That's where the lidocaine comes into hand. It is a topical solution. It's not supposed to be put into the skin. Once you're tattooing over it with the new numbing creams and so on and so forth, once you tattoo over that, whether they've put it on at home and then come into the tattoo studio and then you process, start doing your tattoos, you're injecting that into their bloodstream, if that makes sense, you know, because you are breaking skin, the dermis and the epidermis. Not knowing how much they have used, and then the tattoo studios here in Colorado also have access to 5% lidocaine that they can topically put on through the tattoo and still tattooing on that. So you're putting more and more lidocaine into the skin at that point of time. And there's precautions that could be they could fall out, they could seize, there could be negative reactions with that. So I just wanted to speak on that. There is solutions now that don't have lidocaine that are actually just made with clove that help, that there's no negative reactions with. Our green soap is actually an antiseptic. So we had an issue with, we needed to use more antiseptic when cleaning, which our actual green soap is 30% alcohol, which is pretty much an anesthetic to clean the tattoos and so on and so forth. Then there was an issue with wrapping and covering tattoos. I've been tattooing a little over 30 years now. Back in the day, we would tattoo, wrap it with saran wrap, let them walk out the door. Well, once you puncture the skin, then when you wrap that with saran wrap, it gets a temperature. When you wrap that with saran wrap, it becomes a breeding ground for infection. So they come up with a new second skin, Sanoderm, so on and so forth. Adhesives were causing a big problem with skin reactions on people, just like latex reaction. They've come up with a new, also, liquid Band-Aid that's all natural, has no adhesives in it, and it's working a lot better. So you see a lot of people walking outside the tattoo studio and don't have a bandage on their tattoos nowadays. Public health concern, okay, you're not wrapping that, they could be bleeding, so on and so forth. This is the new resolution to that. It actually seals the tattoo, keeps it from getting dirt, keeps it from bleeding, and this stays on 10 to 12 hours. That's all I have.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I guess one. So you're saying that both of those are not allowed in the regulations, or you have to use those other methods rather than those? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
these are just new to the market compared to the old standard. Pretty much these just don't have the lidocaine in it that a lot of places were using. I'm trying to get away from lidocaine in my studio just because of health concerns and whatnot. I can physically ask you, are you allergic to lidocaine? Did you use any lidocaine? So on and so forth. But that doesn't mean that you might not have a reaction once I start putting it into the skin. So I don't want to cause any reactions or negative effects during my tattoo process using lidocaine. Obviously it's an at-will thing, per studio, but I just think it's something that should have been brought to the attention of everybody, that it is a reaction that can happen. Because a lot of studios are using numbing creams now, and that's something that just came out within like the last 8 to 10 years. And now they're starting to get the negative effects of it because it was not studied to begin with.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we're going to close the public portion of this hearing and ask Mr. Gutierrez if he would like to come back up and address anything that he just heard.
In regard to the gentleman's comments regarding the lidocaine and antiseptics, we did meet with him and his staff back in December, and he had expressed some of these concerns. At the time, we requested additional information, which was not provided. We also researched these comments as well, and also looked into some of them with our nurses. We were not able to find the evidence to support a complete change in the regulations. What we did suggest to them at the time is that they could make those decisions as a business if they wanted to not utilize lidocaine based upon what their customers are telling them, whether they had used numbing agents coming into the establishment.
So what we are proposing and looking at today in the new body art regulations for Fremont County, is it my understanding that this is according to current standard here in the state?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not doing something that no one else is doing?
It's bits and pieces of what other places are doing. So, as a whole, not necessarily doing something that no one else is doing. We would be kind of leading the industry at this point in our state.
Okay.
So I just need more clarification again. Then, these regulations, they don't prevent Richard from using what he's got?
They prevent Richard from, in terms of the antiseptics that he's talking about, we don't, based on our research, we don't recognize the green soap as having the antiseptic properties that are required. His comment that they're 30% alcohol is in their concentrated form. The green soap is meant to be diluted, and our research suggests that in its diluted form, which is meant for use in the shops, that you're looking at 3 to 4% alcohol content. Antiseptic properties are typically around 70%. So
That's a pretty big
far,
difference.
far from that. So we are still looking at the use of antiseptics beyond just green soap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking through here and I can't find it in here. I don't know what's in here, but this is a lot of
But in
pages.
terms of the lidocaine, his shop doesn't have to use that. There's nobody that has to
Right.
use that.
I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe lidocaine appears in the regulations. And I also believe that we may be mixing apples and oranges here in that the gentleman with the comments was talking about anesthetics. And what you're talking about now is antiseptics. They are not the same thing. They do not serve the same purpose. Anesthetic is a product which numbs the skin. I don't believe there's anything in the regulations that prevent the gentleman from using additional products. However, it is required to use an antiseptic.
Absolutely.
And those are two very different things.
Absolutely.
So I think some of the confusion here is that these regulations simply don't address the areas that the gentleman talked about, but they do require that an area that is going to have a procedure be disinfected with an antiseptic.
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
correct? I just
yes.
want to make sure that the record is clear.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, on my end, we've had conversations with the gentleman regarding both, and I've heard bits and pieces of both this morning. So, but
So
yes,
what
you're
he's
correct.
talking about is not prohibited by the regulations, but the regulations do require the use of antiseptic.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, thanks, that does help. I mean, it seems like he's trying to take care of his customers anyway, so I'm just trying to make sure that what he's got going there is not prohibited, because it doesn't sound, why would it be?
Right.
And it sounds like we're good
It's
then.
not prohibited, it's
Yeah.
just when it comes to the antiseptic,
The antiseptic part of it, sure.
we still require beyond the use of just green soap. I just want to make that clear.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Yes. I do have a question, probably for our attorney. This document, the front page does say with an effective date of February 1st of 2026. Clearly, that didn't happen.
Clearly,
We are
right.
not making it retroactive, so I would ask for a suggested date if we choose to adopt this today.
We can certainly, because we did have proper notice for this public hearing, it certainly can be effective today. And frankly, I would defer to our environmental health specialist about whether she would like to give her establishments some notice that as of some date, these regulations will be effective. If she would like to do that, then I would suggest perhaps 30 days hence, today being the 10th of March, maybe April the 15th or something like that.
How about if we look maybe at Monday, April 13th? Agreeable? Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Rick. All right, anything else before we go to a motion? All right, how about a motion? Anyone? Anyone?
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve the revisions and updates to the Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment body art regulations
Second.
with the effective date of
April 13th.
13th.
April 3rd. Thank you. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's my turn today.
All right,
Yeah,
let's start
I have
that
to
all
wear
over
that on my
again.
forehead. Madam Chair, as I was saying for the first time, I move that we approve the revisions and updates to the Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment Body Art Regulations effective April 13th, 2026.
You got it better the second time. I second that.
I don't remember doing it the time. That was-
What are you talking about? All right, thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve this set of revisions and updates to the Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment Body Art Regulations with an effective date of Monday, April 13th. Further discussion? I would just add very quickly that the entire charge of our Department of Public Health and Environment is to keep the public safe and healthy. And so I think this new set of regulations goes a long way toward doing that with folks who choose body art in all of its various forms. So thank you guys so much for all your hard work on this. All right, let's do roll call.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Right.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we have one more order of business today. This is new business. Item number 1, Fremont County Noxious Weed Management Priorities and Procedures. We have with us this morning Brittany Pierce, the Fremont County Weed Management Director, and I would just note, she's the noxious weed manager.
Correct.
She has nothing to do with that other sort
Nothing to do
of.
with
Exactly.
And not
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
For the
Good
record,
morning.
my name is Brittany Pierce. I am the Fremont County Weed Management Director. Today, I just wanted to present some of the updates for the Fremont County Weed Management Control of Noxious Weeds Priorities and Procedures. The revisions were made to ensure the documents reflects current state laws that change regularly throughout the year through Colorado. This also going to clarify some of the procedures with working with landowners, and the targeted noxious weed list through Colorado is updated every few years. So this also reflects the changes that were made to those lists in that as well. We also removed some of the outdated cost references to some of the program's funding. This is usually adjusted annually anyways, and this just allows us a little bit more flexibility with our budgets and programs that we have available. The last time that we did any revision was back in 2020. The state usually recommends somewhere around 3 years, so it's been a few years since we've looked at this.
Well, thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Brittany?
I don't have any questions. I have a comment, though. I
Okay.
mean, Brittany's made some changes, and then it's went in front of the Noxious Weed Advisory Board, which has, how many people are on that board? 10-ish? 10?
Yeah, there's 9 right now, 1 vacancy.
Yeah, we have one vacancy, so anybody interested in the Noxious Weed Board, go to our website, fremontcountyco.gov, and you can send us a letter of interest to be on the Noxious Weed Board. But they all went through it, and I assume gave you some direction if they didn't like something, and everything was fixed. So, yeah, appreciate you going through it. It's a long deal. The noxious weeds always update. It's amazing what becomes noxious that wasn't a while back, and you just got to keep up on it. So thanks for doing that.
Absolutely.
And always navigating the ever-changing landscape of what kind of herbicides can be used and not
It's always
used.
changing.
In another world, in the legislature this year, we're dealing with that in as far as rodenticides, which isn't in your bailiwick, but they seem to think they know a whole lot more than our experts do
Of
on
course.
Once again.
on how
Again.
these, in this case, rodents are to be dealt with, and in your case, how weeds are to be dealt with. So
Exactly.
we thank you for all your hard work and keeping this up to date. So
Absolutely, you are appreciated.
And I would assume this is available on our website, isn't it?
The old version is available right now. I usually update it once it's approved, so.
Yeah, I would
it'll be
just,
on there.
and the reason I ask that is because people that are not familiar with it might want to look at it. I mean, we have cost shares to help with the noxious weeds, because as a public landowner or private landowner, it is your responsibility to take care of these List A noxious weeds.
Yes.
And you can get help from you and your department if they don't know what they're doing, or advice, or.
I think that's the whole function of
Yeah.
my job, is to be a resource for the
100%.
community for, helping out with these types of procedures and regulations. So.
Yeah, and so it's on our website where it's able to view and learn about it. If nothing else, reach out to Brittany and go from there.
Absolutely, thanks for that comment. All right, anything else? How about a motion?
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the changes and updates to the Fremont County Management Control of Noxious Weeds, priorities and procedures, and make it active now. Yeah. Whatever. I guess didn't need that on there, but.
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve this set of Fremont County noxious weed management priorities and procedures with an effective date of today. Further discussion?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
There you go.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner McPaul?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we have no further business to come before this board. We are adjourned.